Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mongoose Gaming and welcome to Off the Wall Nerds Podcast. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded some content. I just, it got away from me. So, for those of you looking for my podcast, for those of you looking for my other videos, I'm sorry. It's just been a while. Um, but I'm kind of getting a groove and stuff. Things are working a little bit better. So, I know I keep saying I'll find a better schedule, but I'm thinking this is going to turn into be a better time. We finally hired some more help at work, so I'll be able to kind of guarantee a stream more videos, stuff like that. So, what better way to after a month is upload a podcast for April, which I missed a little bit. I know my upload schedule on my podcast is weird. I want to do one a month, so I'm still on track with that. That being said, if you guys take a look at the screen, we got a few topics to talk about. Now, Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars are going to be one topic, but I'm in love with both of them, so I posted it. Of course, we're going to talk about the Zelda movie, what little bit we know about it. Daredevil Born Again just finished. And of course, the Switch 2 news and Metroid Prime 4. Now, there's a lot of stuff that was dropped on the Nintendo Direct a few weeks ago with the reveal of the Switch 2, uh, Mario Kart World, a lot of other games, especially more Zelda news. So we're going to dive into the Zelda news, Switch 2 news at the same time. So we're going to start with the Avengers news. Um, Avengers, okay, Marvel, sorry. Marvel did a very interesting live stream. They started the live stream. It was 5.5 hours, if I remember correctly. I didn't watch all of it. I waited until they honestly uploaded the minute and a half, 2 minute video. It was the casting announcement for the movie, for the movies, and holy shit! Like it's the equivalent of Avengers Endgame star power. Like every from Avengers Endgame before that, all 20 plus movies, they had basically the entire cast from all those movies in there, from Thunderbolt Ross's little cameo to Iron Man, Cap, and all them. But there was a lot, especially because Chris Hemsworth is coming back as Thor. The I believe will soon become the longest running character in the MCU. With Cap's passing and Iron Man and so on. The entire Fantastic Four, so Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, all of them, they're going to be from Fantastic Four. They're going to be in these movies, of course. Then we got some of the big time news. We see the names: Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, Rebecca Romaine, Alan Cumming, and I'm like, no. And you hear the X-Men theme from those movies kick in. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, and Rebecca Romaine will be reprising their roles from those X-Men movies in the previous, couple decades ago. They will be in this. So this is tying into the whole multiverse thing of time and multiverse and all this other stuff. So then it just goes a whole long line of chairs, and then it ends with Robert Downey Jr.'s, and he is in the chair, does a little uh, thing, but of course turns around and looks at all the chairs and just says, "Oops." I love this reveal. It garnered 270 million views at the time for a 5.5 hour stream just to reveal chairs. And the stream was, if you watch the entire stream, was just a person setting a chair every, like, I don't know how many, I don't know the time frame, but it's like every 10 minutes just setting a chair. So it was actually really, really cool to see them do that announcement. And then a couple days later, confirmed Russo brothers and Downey Jr. talking to, I believe, Variety or whoever it was, stating that that's not the entire cast. So now there are some notable names missing. Um, Charlie Cox from Daredevil, you see Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, um, Tom Holland. Big time names. I'm sorry, and you gotta have. I can excuse Deadpool for a bit because honestly, while Deadpool can and will probably be in everything, should be, but there's some names that were missing that you have to have now. They're doing something interesting with what they did with. I don't know if they did it quite. No, they didn't do it quite the same way. So they did Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and then they ended Phase 3 with Spider-Man Far From Home, and which took place after, of course, the blip, um, Iron Man dying, and all that. Now they're doing Avengers Doomsday releases. Spider-Man 4 confirmed with Tom Holland. Spider-Man is titled Brand New Day. And then they're doing Secret Wars. So there's a Spider-Man movie tossed in between them. No joke or prediction there is going to be they're going to, of course, huge, heavy exposition in that Spider-Man movie. Some casting was coming out of that one, so we'll see. But really, really excited to see that. Again, the reveals are just great to see the casting list. A lot of the Phase one through three favorites, and then of course the new ones. Um, I haven't seen Cap Brave New World, but I know the guy who's the new Falcon. He's going to be in it along with Anthony Mackie returning as Captain America. Again, the list just goes on. So, having revealed like 20 plus names and then saying that's not all of them got people pretty hyped up. So, they're hyping this up the right way. The Russo brothers are back to direct these movies, 7 years later after Endgame. So, I have no doubt they'll be good, but I'm still gonna say that that they know they have to top Endgame. Now with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as well, not coming back, coming in as Doctor Doom, so many ways he can be a Doctor Doom. That he could just be a Tony Stark variant gone mad. He could be Victor Von Doom, but pose as Tony Stark. Like there's so many ways. And the fun part about this is they're letting Robert Downey Jr. write the backstory on the MCU Victor Von Doom. So he's doing the backstory. He's writing his own lines, his own notes, and all that. So this is Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. Like this isn't something like pick this from the comics, and I want you to play this role a little bit of notes. So like Robert Downey Jr. is doing all of it himself. So this is going to be absolutely crazy because the work he did with Iron Man, just owning that role. Like Iron Man is kind of like Robert Downey Jr. Let's be real here. But so he's going to be pulling the whole Doctor Doom thing again, writing his own lines, his backstory, and all that. So it's going to be amazing to see this. There's no confirmed thing out there on the internet, but there's rumor is he will be in Fantastic Four First Steps, which does show up later this year in July. It would be cool to see him pop in at the end because since they're revealing Galactus, the Silver Surfer Galactus was revealed in the latest trailer. It wouldn't surprise me if he does pop up in the end because you can't have the Fantastic Four without Victor Von Doom. So either he's going to be mentioned heavily in this movie, or he's going to pop up at the very end, and it's going to be Downey Jr. at some point, probably playing playing the nice role, but of course, being Victor Von Doom. Who, let's be real here, I'm glad they picked with the whole Kang fiasco. I'm glad that they are going with Doom as being the big bad. Because as it stands, though, as like Marvel history, Von Doom is up there with Thanos. Is like the number one big bad. Thanos had some redemption to him with his whole snapping half the universe away. And in What If, with the whole T'Challa changing his mind on the whole thing, there's some very small but very interesting redeeming qualities of Thanos. Von Doom is not that way. He's not redeemable at all. At least I hope he's not. Like he's gonna be tearing apart the Avengers. I know this, so it's gonna be. I would expect to see like half this casting list just bite the dust. But we'll see what happens. Staying in the Marvel territory, we're gonna talk about Daredevil again. One of the names I was absent from the initial casting was Charlie Cox. Daredevil Born Again, I thought was gonna be longer season one. It was 9 episodes. I fell into the whole rumor thing. Oh, 18 episodes or 16 episodes first season. I was like, yes. It was 9 episodes. God, I fell for that. But episode one out the gate kills Foggy. Okay, cool. I mean, I liked Foggy. It was like, okay, I didn't expect that, but of course you have to have motivation for the show going forward. Okay, kills best friend. Um, so then, Bullseye gets the hit order and takes out Foggy. And the plot thickens from there, but Matt ends up taking out Poindexter, even to the point of throwing him off the roof, attempting to kill him. Now, Matt didn't hide that. He was trying to kill Poindexter. He didn't. He threw him off the roof. He did end up surviving, went into traction a little bit. He, of course, then it jumps forward a year that Matt gave up being Daredevil. So then he just focuses on being a lawyer, helping out vigilantes charged with crimes. And of course, we get a I'll call it one of the best interactions with they put in the trailer with Kingpin and Matt talking in a diner where Fisk is running for mayor and Matt is talking with him, and they both know right off the bat. Like Fisk is like, I love the line. He goes, "It's not terribly unpleasant to see you again," and Matt's kind of extending the courtesy. It was really good. It was a really good scene, but it just set the tone. Of course, that Fisk is running for mayor. Matt's like, okay, I got to deal with this. So it was a real interesting setup. Again, the 9 episodes went by really quick. I I liked his arc with defending the vigilantes, and of course, this Victor Ayala was an interesting character. Got his powers similar to how Black Panther's. Black Panther does the whole flower thing. His was an amulet giving him his super strength. But Matt, of course, defends him and gets him exonerated. Well, not guilty. Um, and thinking, okay, that's great. But Victor Ayala is killed, and this is what, again, sets Matt down the path of becoming Daredevil again. Victor's just walking home and gets killed, and we initially see this guy in a Punisher outfit, and we're like, no, Frank wouldn't do that. But we see Punisher. So, like, okay. So Matt does his investigating. He finds the bullet casing, and of course, feels it up, does his whole detective thing. And of course, he ends up paying Frank a visit, and it's not Frank. But we get to see John Bernthal as the Punisher, which was great to see John return to the role. So now we have 2 out of the 4 from the Defender. Okay, hold on. So we had Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica, Luke, and Danny. So we got 2 of the 5 from the Netflix series come back. I'm not going to count Karen and Foggy, but I'm going to count the heroes. So we have that. So that was actually really cool. So, but of course, this whole hey red and this and that. It's just, I love the way they just play off each other. Just call it basically, you're a dick. I'm a dick. We get it. But Matt ends up, finding somebody, dating. Nice doctor. She's a psychologist, therapist, whatever she is. And of course, one of her main patients she's seeing is Fisk, and his wife, Vanessa, is back. Vanessa was running the underground while Fisk was away. But so Fisk and Vanessa are going to therapy, couples therapy, and they're seeing her. But one of the main villains, I say, about half the season, one of the main villains is Muse, and that gets interesting real quick because Muse is basically being set up as a vigilante, but he's a murderer. He's got like 60 something murders. So Heather is very much anti-vigilante, and she actually ends up seeing this guy Muse, his alter ego, well, his person. I forget his name. Oh fuck, I forgot his name. I just saw the show too. Anyway, she's seeing him, but then realizes who he is through their session, and he begins to try to kill her. So Matt, of course, jumps in and saves the day, and this and that, and but they do the whole. It falls on like Fisk's thing about the whole anti-vigilanteism. So they're saying that Fisk can always control this division of the police, where they can just basically be brutal, break the law, stuff like that, and do their own thing. So they can do this whole without due process, stuff like that. But they anoint them as like the heroes who saved Heather when everybody knows it was Daredevil. But Heather is, again, one of those, why are they hiding behind a mask? What do they have to be afraid of? And of course, Matt's like, well, if you look at it this way, but so then they go on about their business. We find out at the White Ball, I believe it's called, or however the mayor's dance is, or whatever his party that they do. Matt finds out that Vanessa is the one who put the hit out on Foggy, and then takes a bullet for Fisk because Poindexter breaks out of prison. We find out with Vanessa's help, and he jumps in front of the bullet, takes the bullet for Fisk, and of course, then Poindexter gets away, and then they try to kill Matt. No loose ends type thing. So then that's when Matt just goes full back into Daredevil. He gets Frank's help. They blow up Matt's apartment. So longer story short, though, is that the season ended with Fisk kind of taking control. He's initiating martial law. Like, he takes out the police commissioner in a very brutal scene. Again, I give kudos to Disney for finally laying down, letting this type of thing happen. The most brutal scene in the first season is Fisk literally crushing the head of the police commissioner. And it sends a message. So Fisk owns the police now. And we go forward, and of course they try to get Frank and Matt. Matt gets saved by Karen. Frank tries to then take on this whole police force. Takes out a few of them, but of course, when 20 guys jump on you, you're going down. But they get Frank, and then of course, though, Frank gets out, so no prison can hold Frank. But I honestly thought it was kind of like, it was a really good, okay, how do I put it? is a really good fucked up way to end the season. But I thought it was in the last episode. But I'm like, wow, that was intense. Like Frank gets out, he kills Fisk kills the police commissioner, and Matt does, of course, just he's Daredevil again, like he has to be. So season two has already started production. Thankfully, it was all, oh, it's been renewed. I'm like, it has to have been renewed. I'm like, you can't just put the show out there. I get some shows only get one season, and it makes sense, but Daredevil, I'm like, you have to have more than one. And I thought again, like I fell in that thing. I thought it was 18, 16 episodes. It wasn't. But season two will be 8 episodes. It has already started production. They're expected to finish by fall and probably release around the same time. So we actually won't have to wait too long, just a year. Like, so, but a year turnaround time for new TV. But I really like Charlie Cox as he's one of my favorite castings for um, in Marvel as a whole. Like, perfect role like RDJ for Iron Man. Charlie Cox is Daredevil. Like he owns that role. He's fantastic as in it. D'Onofrio as Fisk is by far and away one of the best villain casting. So it's really good to see them play off each other. The story just really dives into it with the whole anti-vigilantism, and I have to give credit to Michael Gandolfini, James Gandolfini's son. Holy shit, you think you're watching James? Like, oh man, he does a really good job on the show. You can hear his dad's inflection in the way he talks. And so if you haven't seen Daredevil Born Again, well, you've had it spoiled, most of it. Go back and watch it, but it's really, really good. I give it an A plus. Best. It's one of the better Marvel shows they've put out since they've since they've done this. Um, can't wait for season two. It's definitely gonna be great. So I would say like Loki, Daredevil, WandaVision, really the better ones since they've done the whole Marvel TV thing. Um, we're gonna kind of dive into. So we have a trifecta here of Nintendo. So we have Zelda, Metroid, and Nintendo Switch 2. We're gonna go Nintendo Switch 2 and dive into these two. So the Switch 2 was revealed. It looks amazing. It will be running at 120 FPS, 4K. Um, the device itself will be 1080p. Wait, or is it 120 at 1080p and 60 at 4K docked? I have to check the specs, but those numbers match. I just forgot in what order. Um, the Switch 2 is amazing. Nothing short of Nintendo impressing us. Nintendo knows what they're doing. Now, the good thing they did is just expound upon the Switch. It wasn't a jump like from the 64 to the GameCube. This is just Nintendo Switch. They have to say that it will be backwards compatible. But there's a catch. So, among the features, with it being backward compatible, is they're releasing Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which will be adapted and running at the 60 FPS 4K. They did a side by side. Holy shit. Now, I remember when I played my Xbox Series X for the first time, because I had gotten Gears 5 and the Gears 5 Special Edition Xbox One X. I upgraded to the Xbox Series X, I believe like a year later, and got Gears 5 that was upgraded for the X series. The difference in gameplay was absolutely asininely different. And it's the same game. The similarities here. Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch versus Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2 updated is blew me away. Way smoother, way more sensitive in the good way. Like the colors are more vibrant. Like I was like legitimately, how is this like a thing? I didn't expect it. I really didn't. I'm like, Switch 2, cool. Pop in Tears of the Kingdom. Still play on Switch 2. No, they went the extra fucking mile. Now, they're if you have your Nintendo Online Switch membership and you have Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, you will be able to download them for free on the Switch 2. It'll be a download only, not the physical copy, but there will be a code you can redeem to get them both. I'm obviously going to do that. I'm not going to do Breath of the Wild, but I'm going to do Tears of the Kingdom. Your save files will transfer over, so you actually don't lose any data. And among this, if you've been longtime Zelda players from even Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, but if you're familiar with the website ZeldaDungeon.net, that is kind of coming to the Switch. So the Switch 2 has a function. I'm talking Zelda, and I'm kind of off tangent here. Last point, and then I'll dive back into the Switch 2. You can have this thing called Zelda Notes, and it shows you locations of Koroks and all this other stuff that you haven't found yet. It's amazing. Oh my god. Long time coming. Again, if you've ever used ZeldaDungeon.net, that's basically going onto the Switch 2 for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Am I going to use it for the Koroks? Fuck no. I am not going to find all 1900 Koroks. No. But among the Switch 2, they announced that it will be released as a package. The launch game will be Mario Kart World. Holy crap. That game is intense. It's just so much more fun. I think there's so many courses. They're gonna be updating the courses. There's so many more drivers to use. And they just the trailer for Mario Kart World was amazing. It's like it's gonna be launched out. The Switch 2, I believe, is launching at $450 US, 500 with Mario. Um, couple ne- uh, couple. Okay, before we get to the next, couple more things. There's a new button called it's a C button. 64 fans, get your heart out. But called the chat. Called the chat option. So if you have a Nintendo Switch membership and all that, you press this chat option, and there's a microphone in the goddamn controller. You don't have to buy a headset. You can just chat with people. So you're playing Mario Kart with your buddies across town or whatever. You press the chat button, you just start talking to each other. I think that's fantastic. You kind of don't need that for you. Kind of we need the online stuff for Xbox, of course, but the Xbox you need to connect some sort of headset with the controllers. With the Switch, you don't need to. So there's that. But just kind of one upping the game there. The Switch controllers are magnetic, not clipping. I mean, you're still gonna hear the the whatever it is, but um, the console itself will obviously be same thing: mobile, stationary, and docked. So however you guys want to play it, you can still play it. The controllers are still the same. The tilt them sideways, use them like that. A lot of things are the same, but a lot of things are different. Again, it being able to play in 4K 60 FPS or 120, one of those two numbers. On the TV I have playing Gears, like games on the Xbox Series X, like Gears 5, for instance, which runs 4K 120, is beautiful. Like, I want to cry. That is going to be like Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch too. So I'm really looking forward to that. This is an updated thing. Pre-orders for the Switch 2 at GameStop go live April 24th. They're supposed to do April 9th. Tariff bullshit. So Nintendo has announced in GameStop that they have confirmed April 24th. The pre-orders will go live on GameStop. So I will definitely be, of course, putting a pre-order in to get one. They do launch everywhere in June. And yeah, the negatives, we're looking at $70, $80 games, guys. Digital or physical. Now I'm on the fence. I actually buy more digital games on my Xbox. When it comes to the Switch, I buy my games physical. I want my games physical. I don't know why. I don't want it both like that. But the Xbox, I do digital. Buy it, download it. There we go. The Switch 2, I will have to do Tears of the Kingdom I'll call it remaster. Yeah, I'll have to do Tears of the Kingdom remaster digital download because that's what the code I'm going to get. So that's what I'm going to end up doing there. But it's like $70, $80 games now, guys. Like I remember when $50 was a lot for a game. Now we're at $80. Like Jesus, in 20 years, it's gone up $30, and it's like basically gone up a dollar for every year. But they're just doing it in increments. So instead of it being, $80 3 years ago, it's $80 now. So there is that gripe. Um, and this is kind of leading into Metroid Prime 4. A gorgeous game. Now, I appreciate what they've done to it. Now, if you watch the trailer, updated graphics, updated visuals, updated movement, stuff like that, but it looks like Metroid Prime 1. Now, I played Echoes. I played and beat Echoes. I did not actually beat Corruption. I can't stand the Wii. So I only got about a quarter of the way through Metroid Prime Corruption where I gave up. But I beat Prime and Echoes on the GameCube, and I did. I got Metroid Prime Remaster on the Switch, which was a lot of fun. I beat that and got the. I actually beat that. I got the 100% on that one. So, but did that, and Metroid Prime 4. Samus is on it's on a planet called Viros, and it's spelled Viewros. The Nintendo's whimsical names will never cease to amaze us. But um, but Samus on Viros, a whole new mystery. Like she was basically kind of like whole Field of Dreams. Like if you build it, he will come. Well, she got transported, goes to this planet, and she's obviously the chosen one, kind of like how she was on Talon 4 with the Chozo. That's what we're looking at here. So, but they just did a quick little view. Metroids, of course, Metroids, but the space pirates are going strong, and of course they're after her as well. Um, Some new enemies, well, all new enemies, but a lot of the same functionalities like Metroid Prime 1 and 2. You know, they pop out of the ground, they're flying. It, what stays, what looks different is actually the same, but I appreciate it. I just want the plasma beam back. I want the goddamn fire beam back. Metroid Prime had the best overall weapons of any Metroid game because you had four beam combos. You had the wave, fire, you had the wave, plasma, ice, and power. Then you had the missiles, the super missile, flamethrower, ice. Metroid Prime again, best platformer weapons. So we'll see what they do. You of course have the power beam and missiles. They don't show any other ones though. They don't show like her using any other weapons, but she does get telekinetic powers. So I will akin them to honestly Magnesis and Ultra Hand, a la Zelda, but she can move stuff, so she gets the ability to have the telekinesis, move stuff, have stuff turn on, stuff like that. So with the visor, of course, so it'll make the game a little easier, you know, moving through things. But she at the end of the trailer, they reveal she gets a badass like hot rod red new suit, and I'm like, I'm here for it. It looked really really cool. Metroid Prime is definitely up there as one of my favorite game series of all times. It goes, I don't know, I keep changing my list, but I know for sure Zelda's my number one. Then it's like Gears of War, Pokemon. I would put Metroid up there. So definitely up there is one of my top five favorite series of all time. Um, but Metroid Prime 4 releases later this year on the Switch 2 exclusively. It will not be releasing on the Switch. I don't think it will, if I read that correctly. Um, but Metroid Prime Remaster I have on the Switch. I'm gonna play. You know, I'm probably gonna play through it again. Probably do a stream or videos of that, just playing through it. Um, and of course, yeah. So we're at Metroid Prime 4 again later this year. I'm looking forward to it. And kind of the big news here, so we're gonna dive back into Zelda with the whole Tears of the Kingdom thing. So, and we're talking about the movie. um, so Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild each have that Zelda note thing I mentioned earlier, and you can save stuff. So, and then not only can you save stuff, so this is where I'm expounding on this now. You can send stuff to people. You build, you know, okay, perfect example. The perfect hover bike does exist. They posted videos. There's hundreds of videos out there of how to build the perfect hover bike, but you can't do it, or you can't exactly replicate because again, you might turn the fan the wrong way, whatever, so on and so forth. Start over. You can now, that person can now save that hover bike design. That person who created the perfect hover bike, save it and post it, and everybody in the world can grab it now. You don't have to watch their video anymore. Download that file. It goes to your Ultra Hand on Tears of the Kingdom and build the bike. Mine always hooks left. It doesn't. It's not. It's not. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad left. It's not a bad hook left. Like if I'll fly straight and just see it very very slowly start going left. Now mine will not do that because when I can get that file, I'm going to download it. There's my perfect hover bike. Bam. That's all I want. It's just so I just fly straight and flying straight. Um, that's what's going to happen. So you can send your builds to other people. Your notes can then save locations of what Koroks you've gotten, what Koroks you missed. I think treasure chests, stuff like that. So it's gonna be a whole thing. Again, if you've used Zelda Dungeon.net, that's what we're looking at on the Switch now. Well, for Zelda and all that, new amiibos, new stuff like that, and basically Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom will be brand new games. Like it's just brand new experiences with this Zelda Notes thing to play through again. So hold on, my water's too far away. I don't want to go get it. Um, but they're basically brand new experience. So you played Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild's not 8 years old, but now you can sit there and play it again in 4K with a new experience. So it's like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm not going to replay Breath of the Wild. I will probably replay Tears of the Kingdom. But along with that announcement, the new Hyrule Warriors, I forgot what it was called. Age of Imprisonment. Yeah, the Age of Imprisonment, detailing the imprisoning war, will be coming. And apparently, this is interesting. Before I dive back into the Zelda movie, the imprison. Hold on, let me get my water. Quick pause. Okay, that's better. So the interesting thing about this one is Zelda. Well, not Zelda. Nintendo has confirmed Age of Imprisonment will be canon. They actually did announce that Age of Calamity. Well, yeah, they actually kind of announced Age of Calamity is not canon. So, as fun as that one was, it's not canon. But Age of Imprisonment was very specifically stated to be canon. So that's interesting. Now, it's like, okay, you can go play this, and it looks like you play as, not just play as Zelda for the second game in a row, a la Echoes. You looks like you'll be able to play as Rauru. And you go through the whole process of how, right as Zelda gets there and talks to Rauru and Sonia to all the way until she turns into the dragon and sends the Master Sword to Link. Link will not be, unlike Echoes, Link will not be available in this game because it's only going to take place from when Zelda gets sent back to the past. So this is going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. And speaking of Zelda, we have a hard confirmation date now. The live action Zelda movie was announced. Fans of the world rejoice. We're finally getting it. And now we have a release date. Hold on. Is it not in this little thumbnail? It's not in this thumbnail. That's rude. March 2027. I think March 27, 2027. We will have the Zelda movie. So in literally 2 years, we will have the live action Legend of Zelda movie. It currently stands as Legend of Zelda. Um, um, all the main Zelda producer Ionuma will be behind it. Nintendo's financing half the movie. Sony will be in charge of distribution. I'm so coughing over here. But Sony will be doing distribution and all that. And Wes Ball of Maze Runner and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is directing. I like Wes Ball's choice because I wasn't big into Maze Runner, but the way he directed it and the way he did Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, that is the kind of director I'd want for a Zelda movie. No joke. Honestly, the first logical dream wish choice was Peter Jackson. Not even gonna lie, but Wes Ball became the instant favorite because he called it like Chris Pratt called his own casting for Jurassic World. Wes Ball, there's a tweet out there like 10, 15 years old where he called it that he would love to do, that he would be the first to jump on to direct a Legend of Zelda movie. Well, guess what? Over a decade later, he is now directing a Legend of Zelda movie. There are no details. We have no idea what the story is. We have no idea if they're going to adapt the game, write a new story, blah blah blah. No actors have been announced, nothing like that. So, gotta be interesting. Let me drink my water. We have a release date though, so we know that production will be starting soon. Much like movies like this, where they start production. Now, there are a couple problems with this movie. Not with the movie, but the time frame. It comes out March of 27. Sonic 4 comes out that same month. Godzilla Kong 3 comes out that same weekend. They're releasing Zelda and Godzilla in the same damn weekend. So, can you say who's going to blink first? I almost guarantee you Godzilla Kong is going to move its release date. They're either going to move it up or they're going to move it back. Solely because of that. So, hold on. All of a sudden I get an itchy throat. Half an hour into this goddamn podcast, I'm getting an itchy throat. So I don't think that Zelda's gonna blink and move its release date. I think Godzilla Kong is gonna push or come sooner. Godzilla Kong 3 has begun production. Sam Neill is in Godzilla Kong 3. I'm excited. Dr. Grant, although not Dr. Grant. But a couple of things for Godzilla. Monarch Season 2 has wrapped production, and Godzilla Kong 3 has begun production. So, but Zelda comes out that weekend, so we're going to see what happens. Hold on. So, Sonic, Godzilla, and Zelda in 1 month. That's like this month. That's like this year in July, where we have Fantastic Four, Jurassic World Rebirth, and Superman. Just Superman. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. three massive movies coming out in July, and now we're gonna see it again in 2027 with Godzilla, Sonic, and Zelda. If Zelda and Godzilla come out in the same weekend, still like neither one of them flinches, they come out the same weekend, I will buy tickets to both. I will watch. Let's just say I'll watch Zelda. Showtime at 3, ends at 5:30. I'll move theaters and go watch Godzilla Kong at 6 and ends at 9. I will do that. I don't care. I will take the day off from work. I'm like, I am busy. My kiddo will want to see it. My son loves Zelda. He loves Godzilla. He loves Sonic. So hell, I might even wait and just take an entire movie day and pick a Saturday and do like back to back to back movies and do that. But that's what we're looking at. So Legend of Zelda, March 2027 is currently what it stands at with that's it, just the release date and official director and producers. I would expect casting news probably in the next few months because if they're beginning production, they, again, setting a hard release date means it's 2 years. Movies like that take that kind of time to be written, start production, and then of course post production. I mean, Godzilla Kong 3 will be what 4 years? Not 4 years, sorry, 3 years from the last one. So 2 years is kind of interesting. Um, we don't know if it's a planned trilogy, duology, quadrilogy. We don't know how they're going to do it. I have talked about this before, but again, my personal my personal picks would be adapt like Ocarina of Time, Link to the Past, or Twilight Princess. Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time work really well, given that they are more. I don't want to say more easy, but more contained stories. But if they do a trilogy, then you can easily do Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, because Twilight Princess happens after those two. So that's a trilogy right there in and of itself. But then you have um, Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, and so on. And then, of course, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and whatever that third Zelda game is going to be, which there's been no announcement. There's not even a rumor. Let's just hope we get the third Zelda. But we know whatever Zelda game comes out, a new one will be on the Switch too. So, but there we go, guys. That's what we're looking at. Switch 2, Daredevil Born Again, Zelda, Avengers, Metroid. There's also been all kinds of new news. Star Trek Strange New World season 3 premiered. Its trailer looks really interesting. That's expected to come out later this year. But I'm looking for the Zelda movie. That March of 27 is going to be huge. That 2027 is going to be huge because also Secret Wars comes out that year too. So 2027 is going to be a huge year. This year is a huge year for movies. 2026 is going to be huge because that's Doomsday. And I believe, hold on, is it this year? Yeah, the new Avatar Fire and Ash movie comes out. So in 2027, we have just named 5 off the bat: Zelda, Sonic, Godzilla, Avengers: Secret Wars, and the 4th Avatar movie. Holy shit! What's disgusting is Disney has like what? Well, hold on. Disney has Avatar, Avengers, and no, Sony. So, okay, so Disney has 2 of those 5 movies. But anyway, I digress. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's the podcast. So I will be trying to upload more content. I'm gonna probably do a Pokemon playthrough series. Wow, a Pokemon series playthrough. If you guys watch the M&J TV YouTube channel, he did a quick little hour video on it. I'm gonna play this game called Heart Gold Soul Silver, Sevi Islands. That's a continuation. It looks like a lot of fun. On that note, yeah, just make sure you guys are like, follow, subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, the support means a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy.